Okay, hello. I'm Joe Akins. I'm a nurse in Nashville, Tennessee, Davidson County. Pretty much the same thing. This is just about my thoughts on the Vaught trial and conviction, and just some of my views on how I think the prosecution just completely mismanaged the case and misled the jury and just overlooked key evidence. So let me just start. This is and I'll kind of let you know. Most of this will be uh, just me speaking. So if you're running or working out, you mostly can just listen. There's really one part that I really want people to see what I'm talking about. Something that the prosecution conveniently overlooked or consciously disregarded is I guess that's the term that they threw around during the trial. So I'll just use their words right back at them. I'm going to use a lot of their words right back at them. Um, so, but you can probably listen and not really pay attention or sit and watch this. You may be fairly bored. Just there's not a lot of graphics or video or things blowing up or things like that. So you can probably just listen. And I apologize for my voice. Hopefully the volume's good. And I just want to start off. This is Becker's Hospital Review. This just came out Friday, May 6th. And it's just talking about, nurses make exit plans after the Vaught conviction. Now, how much you think that's going to affect, how many nurses are going to leave the profession nationally, locally here in Davidson County. Are travelers not going to want to come here? I don't know. There's other people who have done, podcasts on that and videos. But in looking through this, it just struck me. So this is Becker's Hospital Review. I think it's a paid subscription. I'm not sure. They have fantastic articles. But if you're not paid, I don't know. You may not have access to this. I also apologize if I upload this. I'm new at. I've never really done a video like this on YouTube or any kind of video. I've taught on Zoom, but I don't know if the resolution will allow you to read. So basically, it's an article, Nurses Make Exit Plans After Vought's Conviction by Mackenzie Bean, Eric Carbajal, and Kaylee Gleason, published Friday, May 6, 2022, Becker's Hospital Review. And then it just, talks about that, talks about the background. But there's this one, see, I don't know what I'm doing. You can't do that. All right, there we go. Right, so there's this one little quote in here which kind of struck me as part of the problem. So this is from Latrina Walden, MSN, nurse practitioner based in Georgia. So she says, quote, "I understand that the majority of nurses don't want to see Redonda prosecuted. Neither did I, but we take an oath to not cause harm. I hope I never took an oath to not cause harm. I don't understand why anyone would take an oath to not cause harm. It's not about cause. You can cause harm doing all kinds of things in basically on a daily basis. Every time I go to work, I may potentially cause harm. Give a patient chemotherapy, you may cause harm. Extract the patient from a motor vehicle, you may cause harm. I mean, there's so many examples of causing harm. That's the wrong way to think about it. You're wrong. So let me be very clear. You are wrong in your thinking. Your thinking is inconsistent with reality. If you took an oath or you think you will not cause harm as a medical practitioner, whether you're a patient care technician, a nurse, a doctor, a respiratory therapist, it doesn't matter. So it's not about causing harm. The proper way to think about it, there's this is, and this just happens to be from Vanderbilt. This is kind of nice. It's from 2011. Medical mistakes interfere with hospitals, quote, do no harm, end quote, aim. I've always thought, do no harm. First, do no harm. And this goes back to the I was an EMT many years ago, the Good Samaritan laws, right? If you don't do anything, if you just call 911, that's fine. You don't do harm. Even if the patient may suffer because you do nothing, that's fine. You just do no harm. You know, so do no harm to me. I don't know, maybe in the military, I don't know where I got the idea, but that's how I've always thought of it. First, do no harm. And this article from Vanderbilt University Research News, this is from 2011. These two, and they're actually, it's interesting, they're from the Vanderbilt Owen Graduate School of Management. So how do you manage a healthcare facility? I'm a frontline nurse. I really have no desire. I have no desire to have anything to do with management or any of that type of bureaucratic stuff. But they talk about this quote here, and I don't know why it's interesting, the formatting. So from Vogus, who's one of the Ramanujam and Vogus are the two professors at Vanderbilt. So this quote's from Vogus. Quote, in healthcare, a safety culture encompasses the shared values, attitudes, and behavioral norms that every member of the organization needs to focus on to minimize patient harm. Okay. 3 ways to create a safety culture in healthcare. And there's plenty of organizations agree with this. So first, by directing attention to safety through personal example and organizational practices, so subordinates actually see certain actions that lead to a safer environment. Secondly, by creating an atmosphere where practitioners feel safe to speak up and report medical errors without fear of recrimination. There's this idea that we can attain perfection. We can't attain perfection. We're not going. There's a great book that came out many years ago. Oh goodness gracious, I forget the name of it. Deep Leadership or something like that, and it goes through, talks about the psychology of a lot of this. But you're never going to reach perfection. You do your best, but one of the most important aspects of any system, especially the more complex it gets, is error feedback. Not just error correction, error feedback. When there's an error, you need feedback to how to correct it. That's part of this Veritas system, and it's supposed to be non-discoverable. Unfortunately, in the case of Redonda Vaught, it was turned over, I don't think maliciously. And I don't know how much that had to do with the case. I don't think they learned anything really, or maybe they did. I don't know. The other people, again, have talked about those details. But error feedback and in turn error correction are important because you're not going to reach perfection, but you're striving for perfection. You're striving for the best you can do with the resources you have. So I think this conviction, which I think is just completely bogus, flies in the face of that. And a lot of people are going to think about, wow, this isn't worth it. I just have a target on my back. And I'll get to why I'm saying that. I have some pretty harsh language for the prosecution here in Nashville. So enabling, enacting, elaborating. Of course, you have to use the same letter to begin each one. It's easy to remember. Enacting a safety culture relies on the willingness of frontline employees to communicate about potential sources of error and unsafe conditions, to disclose errors and near misses, and to transmit their concerns upward in the organization. Yeah. Why? I mean, this was a medical error that happened. It was very unfortunate. I mean, yes, she did a lot of things wrong. Yeah, okay. But she did not intentionally cause harm. She did not intentionally cause harm. She does not belong in prison. Criminal charges should not have been brought. And the fact that they were, I have to, think a little hard about, whether I want to continue to work in Davidson County. I don't know that it's worth it. There's still some hope. Hopefully we can get rid of, these prosecutors and assistant DAs, but we'll see. And then elaborating, when elaborating is focused on patient safety, 2 themes emerge: the centrality of reflection and the centrality of feedback. Right? If people are going to feel like there's going to be some kind of repercussions, they're just going to keep their mouth shut. And then more errors are going to happen.